Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. Alright, pack one, pick one. Pretty good card. If we can resolve it, which is a pretty big if. What else is there? Out of curiosity, there's a Luminous Bonds, which would be kind of a very safe, efficient pick, but I have a suspicion that chat wants to see Zakama in action, and I don't blame him. It is a pretty sweet card. Luminous Bonds might be the correct pick, but it's kind of boring. So I'll take Zakama and then hope to wheel maybe a Hunt a week wheels, who knows. Alright, another Luminous Bonds would be nice, but after first picking Zakama, Wayward Swordtooth pairs pretty well with it, letting us ramp, plays well into the dinosaur theme. There's also Bombard as another excellent removal spell, which we also would love. But let's go big or go home. Alright, how about a Thunderherd Migration to help us ramp? Pairs pretty well with our two dinosaurs that we've picked so far. Yeah, Migration seems good here. Divine Verdict would also be totally fine as a removal spell. But let's try and build a nice synergistic dinosaur deck. Speaking of which, Knight of the Stampede can help us ramp out or expensive dinos. Otherwise, we're looking at maybe a Snubhorn Sentry or Armasaur. But Knight of the Stampede seems perfect. Alright, our first non-dinosaur related pick is Inbound. So I think we like Pirate's Pillage, just as a way to ramp and get rid of extra lands, especially if we were going to play like an 18 or 19 land deck, given the Swordtooth and the Zakama. Pirate's Pillage is kind of the perfect fit there. And we're planning to play red anyway for Zakama. So we might be red-green splash white instead of green-white splash red. Alright, got some solid options here as well. White seems pretty open, as does red. We've got a Ceratops, reasonable body, and Enrage gaining a bit of life is always nice. Heliopterus, slightly more aggressive dinosaur. Goes well in like the red-white aggressive dino decks. Giving stuff flying, kind of like a Pegasus Courser for dinos. And then there's also Snubhorn Sentry as an early defensive play that eventually turns into a 3-3. I don't hate Sentry, could also get behind Ceratops, since we do also want to take advantage of Knight of the Stampede, especially if we pick up multiples. So having more expensive dinos after we play Knight is usually preferable over playing a 1-drop. We're not easily going to be able to play straight up 3 colors, and if Sentry is an early play and we want to play Pirate's Pillage on turn 4, and we want to play green as our primary color, something has to give. Raptor is also more of an aggressive card. You really need to sink the mana into it to make it be able to trade for an opposing creature. So our deck is more interested in just playing big dinos instead of spending mana pumping the Raptor. Could be an okay filler card, but it's not something I'm excited to play in this deck. But it would fit in better color-wise, since we're looking to be red-green splash white. If our plan is to go green-red splash white, then I think Ceratops is the more reasonable pick, since it's a better late-game play. I think we'll go with the Ceratops here. But it is an interesting pick. Like, we could still easily be green-white splash red instead of a red-green splash white. But there's usually more payoffs in red-green for dinos than green-white, although it's pretty close. There's also quite a few in green-white. Alright, easy second Pirate's Pillage here, although I guess there's also Dreadmaw, which we should consider as just another curve topper to ramp into. But Colossal Dreadmaw appears in every pack, so there's a good chance we can end up with at least one Dreadmaw at some point. Pirate's Pillage is an uncommon, so we're less likely to get another one. And I think the ramp is quite important, and just the card smoothing it provides is pretty good. But Dreadmaw is a totally reasonable card, 6/6 tramples, not easy to deal with. Alright, this one's kind of a brick. I guess we can take a Plummet in case we're low on removal. Don't think we want to Artisan. Take a Horncrest since there's nothing else. Alright, now we can take a Raptor. And I doubt we'll want Pride of Conquerors in this deck. Could also take a Gleaming Barrier in case we're lacking early plays. I doubt we'll play either one. Alright. So started off pretty nicely with Zakama, followed by Swordtooth, followed by Knight of the Stampede and Thunder Migration. Didn't pick up any removal spells. Had to pass up on those Luminous Bonds and Bombards early. But hopefully we'll be able to pick some up in the next few packs. As well as, of course, any dinosaurs. Alright, well, open a pretty decent pack for us. Raging Regisaur, one of the premier uncommons for the red-green dinosaur archetype. There's also Bombard as an excellent removal spell. Siegehorn Ceratops, I think, is just weaker than the Regisaur. Takes a bit more work to get going. Needs some enrage enablers to make it reliable. Regisaur is just always good. And I think we prefer Regisaur over Bombard. The dinosaur synergies, just a 4/4 body. And it can also act as removal spell. And an enrage enabler. Of course, if we wield the Ceratops, we can consider playing it, but not gonna take it over the Regisaur. Alright, perfect. Crested Herdcaller, very strong by itself, even better in a dinosaur deck. So that's a pretty easy pickup here. Hope to wield Dreadmaw. Ooh, wow. Forerunner of the Empire. Great Enrage Enabler. Good by itself, can help us find our bombs. Another Dreadmaw that we can hope to wheel, so we're pretty likely to get at least one. It's definitely looking like we're red, green, splash, white, which makes me happy with some of our decisions earlier. And this is a pretty stacked pack as well for us. There's like 4 cards I want out of this pack. Luminous Bonds, great removal, Pterodon, great flying dino. Hunt a Week, solid removal in the deck as well, and another Knight of the Stampede. I think we probably have to take a removal spell here since we're lacking interaction. Probably not playing the barrier. Hopefully we don't have to play the Horncrest, but it's not bad in the dino deck. Although it's better than the aggressive red-white one. We are currently splashing white, so Luminous Bonds is less reliable than Hunt a Week, but I do agree that Luminous Bonds is a better card than Hunt a Week. There's a good chance we wheel Knight of the Stampede and Suncrested Pterodon out of this pack, since they don't seem to be taken very highly by the bots. So I think we do just take the Luminous Bonds, even though it's on the splash, just because it's the more powerful removal spell. And we do have a Thunderherd Migration for fixing. We might pick up some dual lands or Evolving Wilds. Let's take the bonds. Alright, so speaking of mana fixing, we could take a Traveler's Amulet here, which I don't hate. The alternative is a Overgrown Armasaur, which is fine, nothing too exciting. It's usually just a 4/4 that trades and leaves behind a 1/1, which is not bad for a 5-drop, but we've got so many other replaceable 5-drops that I don't think we need to take it highly, whereas we do want to take mana fixing. Alright, another strong pack for us. This is looking like a Suncrested Pterodon pick, although there's also an argument for Heliopterus. Just being able to give one of our giant dinosaurs flying can increase our clock significantly, but the Pterodon is the much more reliable flyer, much more difficult to kill, and 2/5 vigilance. Flying is a pretty good stat line for 5 mana. Alright, this is looking like a freebooter. It's kind of like a Pirate Spillage, which is not bad. Tilonali's Crown is an okay Enrage enabler, but so far we don't have a ton of Enrage creatures, and the effect itself of giving +3/+0 and Trample is not something I'm too high on. And Freebooter is totally fine filler. This is between Armasaur and Relic. Let's take a look at our curve. We're definitely lacking some early plays. Relic could help us ramp. Of course, doesn't fix our mana, which is something we would want. But this might just be the Relic because of curve. Can take a second relic. Don't think we want to play Companion on the splash, even though it is a 2-drop and it is a dino. Just because splashing for a 2-drop is usually not a great idea, and it's definitely looking like we're going to be red, green, splash, white. So we won't have access to the white mana early. Alright, I'll take another Horncrest, I suppose. Alright, wield our first Dreadmaw. Now there is also a Frillback, which, I mean, is not an exciting card, but it is something we can play early. Costs us 1 mana after we play Night of the Stampede. But I could see using a Dreadmaw here instead, just as another big curve topper. We already have some beef, but can always use a bit more. Now that we took Dreadmaw, Night of the Stampede looks pretty enticing. Although I would love another Pterodon as well. So this is another close pick. Alright, let's take a Knight. I mean, very unlikely that we need the Oraska Raptor, but you never know. Another Plummet, just in case. Nice. Gishath and Zakama in the same deck. Let's go. And we can even wheel Brontodon or Aerosaur. Alright, how about some more rare dinos? Sunwing is excellent, although would be on a splash, so it's actually debatable whether or not we prefer Aerosaur or Kinjali Sunwing. We're basically hoping to get to 4 mana, play one of our 4 big mana ramp cards, Night of the Stampede, Pirate's Pillage. So any early white cards are a little bit suspicious. Aerosaur is a better late game play since it has an immediate impact on the board, giving something +1/+1 in flying can help us close out the game if there's a board stall. Sunwing is more of a card you want to play on curve. If you're the aggressor, it's very difficult for the opponent to recover. But this deck is not going to be the aggressor very often, since we're just trying to ramp into big stuff, so our early game isn't applying a ton of pressure, so it's not the best home for Sunwing, but of course 3 mana to 3 flying with upside is still a fine card. And finally there's Commune, which would help us smooth out our draws pretty nicely, and in the late game can help us find our bomb dinos, but I'm kind of counting on Commune wheeling, so I don't think we have to take it here. So it is really between Sunwing and Aerosaur. Yeah, Kinjali Sunwing does slow the game down to an extent, but I mean outside of tapping down haste creatures, it doesn't really slow down the opponent's offense. I think it's close. I think you could make a totally defensible argument for either one, and I wouldn't fault anyone for taking one over the other, but I guess I'll go with Chad on this one. Alright, how good is Goring Ceratops in our deck? I mean, it is a dino. That's about the extent of Goring Ceratops. If this wasn't a dino, it would not be a consideration. It does happen to have the dino subtype, but it is yet another expensive card. What other options do we have? There's an Aerosaur on the splash. I mean, Ceratops would be on the double splash. I don't actually love the Ceratops here. Of course, if we get super lucky and find it off Gishath, that would be pretty sweet, but other than that, it's not like Ceratops does a ton for us. Wily Goblin is an early play that helps us ramp, but double red means we won't often be able to cast it on turn 2, so that kind of makes it less useful as a ramp card. Aerosaur would be a totally fine 5-drop, but it's not like we're lacking 5-drops. Would be an upgrade over Horncrest, potentially. Yeah, our curve is very high, so that's what I'm pretty concerned with. If we could find one of the uncommon 2-mana ramp cards, the green one or the red one that gives haste, those would be excellent in our deck. Do we need another Colossal Dreadmaw? Not really. Would we play another Colossal Dreadmaw? Maybe. Does play well with Night of the Stampede. So this one's pretty tough. Yeah, I think I can get behind Aerosaur. Alright, so got some solid cards here as well. So the most synergistic card in our deck would be Tilonali's Knights, just as a 2-drop that can become a 3/3 if we control a dino, which we're pretty likely to. Otherwise, there's a Firebrand, which is arguably a better 2-drop than Tilonali's Knight, and Deep-Root Warrior can become a 3/3 if it becomes blocked. So similar to the Tilonali's Knight, a bit better if we don't have a dino, a bit weaker if we do have a dino. And then there's Pounce as a removal spell, but it is relying on us having a large creature in play, which at that point we're already pretty late in the game, so it's not an early removal spell. Could use a bit more removal, of course, since we're only working with a Luminous Bonds and some conditional plummets and some 1 damage effects, like the Regisaur and the Forerunner. Probably gonna go with the Knight. Both Sure Strike and Frenzied Raptor would be reasonable. Frenzied Raptor like the red version of the frilled dinosaur from Rivals. And red is one of our primary colors, I think. Although I guess red and white are pretty split, but would still be totally solid filler at 3 mana. Sure Strike is a nice combat trick if you combine it with giant trampling dinosaurs. If the opponent already has to like double block your Colossal Dreadmaw and then you Sure Strike, it's usually game over. But it's not a very useful card early, since we don't have a ton of early creatures to play. So I think I'm in favor of the Raptor. Well, Skyterror is a very good card. It's not the best in this deck, where we have a lot of green mana early, although it's looking more and more like our 3 colors are evenly split, which is usually something we want to avoid. So we might just take the Skyterror anyway. Alternatively, there's a Blossom Dryad, which would help us ramp as well, so it would be pretty good too. Don't think I'm a big fan of Unknown Shores, even though it can help us fix our mana, but it does so in a pretty bad way. So sure, let's take a Skyterror. Bright Reprisal is not the best removal spell, pretty expensive to keep up. Don't think we need a Rallying Roar. So it's between a Crushing Canopy as a slightly more versatile plummet, or a Pterodon Knight as another flying dinosaur-related card. Don't think we're lacking 4-drops. Already have a couple of flyers now with Aerosaur, Pterodon, and Sunwing. Skyterror. So you could see taking the Canopy as a more main deckable effect than plummet. Can maybe destroy a Luminous Bonds that's enchanting one of our creatures. And pretty happy with an Ixalan's Keeper, I think, just as an early play. Sheltering Light is a pretty powerful combo trick. People don't often play around it. I think we just want more cheap stuff that we can play to impact the board. So we wield the Belligerent Brontodon. It's not amazing in our deck. Most of our creatures have the same power as they do toughness. In some cases, more power than toughness. It does play well with the Pterodon. The alternative is Sure Strike, which is a decent combo trick, as we said earlier, but not the most impactful early in the game. Although we did pick up some more cheap creatures in the meantime, so Sure Strike got a little bit better. But our late game's already looking pretty good. Don't think we need more 7-drops. So I think we'll diversify and take a Sure Strike. And we wield the Commune, which I think is a pick here. Alright, we wield the Wily Goblin as well. Could take it, but now that we're kind of evenly split across 3 colors, double red seems even less realistic. I guess it's an uncommon for the Vault. Doubt we'll play the Knight. Alright, got another Sure Strike. Don't want Munitions, don't want Keeper. Infinite Sure Strikes. Alright, kind of regretting taking it over the Brontodon now, but I doubt we would have played the Brontodon. Alright, well, let's build a sweet dinosaur deck here. Sadly, did not pick up a ton of mana fixing. Took all the fixing we had the chance to pick up in Amulet and Thunderherd. Now that we have Crushing Canopy, I don't think we need plummets. So the mana base is going to be somewhat messy. But we do have a bit of treasure making with Pillage and Freebooter to help us as well. So don't have a ton of interaction. We've got a Sure Strike, a Luminous Bonds, and a Crushing Canopy. And for the most part, we're just trying to ramp into big stuff and hope that's good enough. This is also easily a deck that might want to play a few extra lands just because our curve is high and we have Wayward Swordtooth. So I could see extra lands being better than Oraskar Relic, for example. But definitely don't need both. Raptor's pretty weak, so that's definitely cuttable. Although it is one of our few early plays. Yeah, the Horncrest is cuttable, got enough 5-drops. Brazen Freebooter could be cuttable if we think we have enough fixing or ramp already. So cards I'm considering cutting are Freebooter, Relic, Raptor, and I think that's it for the most part. I guess we can get away with 17 lands plus an amulet plus a commune instead of having to play 18 lands. And I guess we also have a migration. So it's kind of like we have 20 mana sources if we play 17 lands, which I think is reasonable. How about we cut all these? Could also make a case for a freebooter over one of the pillages, since we just want an early body to block with, instead of maybe ramping a little bit more. But pillage is quite strong with our 7 and 8 mana dinosaurs, so we would still need to make 2 cuts, I think. Yeah, that's kind of my thinking as well with Skyterror. Like, our plan is not to kill the opponent by dealing 2 damage a turn. Our plan is to play Gishath or Zakama and completely overwhelm the opponent. So Skyterror doesn't fit into our game plan all that well. That being said, every now and then we don't draw our big dinos or they answer them, and then having an evasive flyer to close out the game with is useful. So this is definitely a tricky deck to build. Yeah, our top end is definitely very impressive, but gotta make sure we can get to it. So I could see cutting Skyterror and Sure Strike, and then have this as our deck. We could play 18 lands, but we are already playing an Amulet, a Commune, and a Migration as extra mana sources. Then again, Pirate's Pillage does make it so we can always discard extra lands, so having extra lands is not a bad thing. So we could still play an extra land regardless. Could maybe cut Ceratops as one of our weaker top-end cards. Yeah, maybe playing an extra land is worth it here. Cut the Ceratops, and then we can play an extra mountain, or an extra plains, or an extra forest. It's unclear what our mana distribution should be like, since we're a little bit all over the place. Extra plains gives us more access to Luminous Bonds and Sunwing early. More green gives us more access to our mana fixing early. Yeah, I think we need an extra forest. Because if we don't have forest, then this mana fixing doesn't work, and we kind of rely on it. And we also need double green for Herdcaller and Dreadmaw. Yeah, we could consider the wall for curve, but it's kind of underwhelming. The main issue I have with Skyterror is that we won't be able to cast it super reliably on turn 2, given that we only have 4 plains and 6 mountains. So it doesn't really count as an early play. It's more of a late game 2-drop that we can play alongside something else maybe. I think we want slightly more red than white, just so we get access to Pirate's Pillage as another mana fixing card, and our Tilonali's Knight is also another cheap red card. But it is close. So yeah, this might be the way to go. We might lose some games to mana issues, but the games where we get to hit our land drops and curve out are going to be pretty epic, hopefully. We already have a Crushing Canopy as a way to deal with flyers. I don't think we also want an extra Plummet. We do have an Aerosaur and a Pterodon as additional flyers as well, and Zakama with Reach, and I guess the Sunwing as well as another flyer. How do we call this? Mama Zakama? It's not a bad one. Alright, Mama Zakama it is. Let's go. Seems like a keepable opening hand. Hopefully Commune finds us a white source. Ooh, spicy. Gotta take the plains here. Alright, so I've got a turn 2 Ixalan's Keeper, turn 3 Luminous Bonds, and then a turn 15 Zakama. Hopefully something in between. Yeah, we do have amulets that shuffles our library. And the migration, but the migration's on the bottom now. Alright, I think we'll attack and offer the trade. And then Regisaur can hopefully kill the Stalker at some point. Blue-green Merfolk, perhaps? Oh yes, the Nayatron has been assembled. Sadly, this doesn't produce 7 mana, just 3. Alright, opponent does nothing. Kind of nervous that they might have a Hornswoggle here. And I don't want to play the Regisaur into it. Alright. At least we get to resolve the Regisaur. God is pretty good here. Alright, hopefully we get to eat a Stalker here. They might leave back a blocker to try and double block Regisaur, and then we can Luminous Bonds. What do we do if they attack with both? Ooh, Merfolk Mistbinder. That's kind of the worst case scenario here, since now we can't actually kill the Stalker anymore. But if they have any interaction for the Regisaur, we are in trouble. Ooh, Path of Discovery is a good one too. Can let them explore. Ooh, hello. That's what we were hoping for. Pirate's Pillage, Ditch Forest. Although let's tap our mana a bit better here. So playing the Knight of the Stampede now, or keeping the treasures, is kind of the same. Of course, if they have interaction for the Knight, then we would have wasted 2 treasures. Because if they, let's say they have a bounce spell for the Knight, which, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily play it on the Knight, but let's say they do, then we wasted 2 treasures and aren't able to play Zakama next turn. Whereas if we wait, we get to play Zakama on tap and then still play Knight or activate Zakama. Yeah, they probably would keep the interaction for the Regisaur, so it's unlikely that they would use it on the Knight, considering we have this much mana anyway, but you never know. And Zakama can of course destroy the Path of Discovery, which is pretty key. But it can destroy a whole lot of other things too. So hopefully they just tap out here, so we get to have our fun. Opponents just go with 2 mana up. Essence Scatter's not in the set. Alright, let's go. Alright, nice. So step 1, we could shoot down Mistbinder, attack with Regisaur, shoot down Stalker, and then we can destroy the Path of Discovery. That seems reasonable. Nice. It looked dicey for a second, but Mama Zakama saves the day. Don't think we can keep this. Need both red and green mana. Alright, I guess we'll keep this. Hope to find some red. Commune seems good enough. Can find our red or white mana. Alright, well, Zakama is tempting. We probably need this mountain. I think we'll have to rely on Gishath in this one. If we draw a mountain next turn, we'll regret it. Alright, picked up Amulets so we can get our white mana here, as well as shuffle Zakama back. Let's just do it right now. Raptor lines up pretty well against Barrier, but they might have a Hornswoggle here. That's fine. Hornswoggle was going to be pretty good against our deck at some points. Grandpa Gishath, I like it. Yeah, Grandpa Gishath makes sense. So Gishath is Zakama's dad? Or is he our grandpa on our father's side? Deadeye Brawlers, somewhat annoying. I could see Pirates pillaging while they're tapped out so they don't counter this. Since it's not like Knight blocks or attacks. Sawtooth isn't bad. Can go knight into Sawtooth. And we even have a ton of treasures to help us enable the city's blessing. Luminous Bonds can answer Brawler. Gishath feels more like a father side, I agree. Got the city's blessing, good Luminous Bonds right now. Our opponent's got 8 permanents, so they're somewhat likely to get the city's blessing next turn and attack us with a Brawler that draws him a card. So I think we do Luminous Bonds right now. And we still have the Knight to help us ramp in case we draw Zakama or Gishath. Opponent's trying to mill us with Navigator's Ruin. Alright. And they milled our Zakama. That's unfortunate. And Forerunner in face of Navigator's Ruin is kind of awkward, since if we put a dinosaur on top now, they shuffle or they mill it away. I guess we can just put a bad dinosaur on top that we don't mind milling away. I think we'll just go for a random dino that we don't care about. It is a May ability. I guess we don't have many bad dinos, do we? I mean, we could still just click done here. Yeah, these would actually all be good draws. So I don't think we put anything on top. Sailor of Means. Alright, so the Sawtooth is pretty important here. They do mill us pretty quickly. Alright, send in everyone. What did they mill? A bunch of lands and a Dreadmaw. So don't have many lands left at this point. Yeah, they could easily mill us before we manage to kill them here. A Gishath off the top would be pretty sweet. Oh yeah, Crushing Canopy on the Ruin would also be good. Don't know if it's milled already. Could still draw it. Yeah, and there it goes. Migration. It's even unclear if we should cast a Migration, since getting a land out of our deck will put us closer to mill death. Yeah, let's see what happens. Alright, so we got an extra point of damage in. Alright, well, had we drawn any action, we might have been able to get there, but it's looking pretty dicey. I don't think we cast Migration. Freebooter, another blocker. That's a draw. Come on. No, don't do it. Sad. Sad. Very sad. They probably chump Sawtooth, or they block Stampede, take 6. They attack us, mill us, we draw, we're not dead yet. And then try and kill them next turn. Alright, please just draw land. Then they have to chum block here. Nice. Alright, we might be able to get there anyway. Grandpa Gishath will be avenged. Could cast a migration at this point, since if this mills us, we're dead anyway. Don't even know if we have a land left. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17. I guess we have one land left. So I guess we might as well thin out the deck if we have one land left. Alright, oof, that was a close one. They milled our Mama Zakama, they countered our Grandpa Gishath, but we prevailed. Yeah, Sister Swordtooth had our back. Do get to play Tilonelli's Knight, we're on the draw, we have 8 force in the deck, I believe. And an amulet we can draw towards, so kind of 9 green sources in a way. I think this is enough reason to keep. Alright, look at this beatdown draw. Who needs green mana anyway? Alright, so hopefully this buys us enough time where we can eventually draw into our green mana. Skullduggery, perhaps? Yep. Well, we did get them down to 10. And they're gonna have to stay back. Alright. Let's pillage. And what do we discard is a question. Alright. I'll take it, I guess. So do we even bother casting Migration? I don't think we do. But I guess next turn we could go Knight into Herdcaller anyway. So I think we wait here. Since if we do find another Pirate's Pillage, we might want to ditch the Migration. Alright, opponent's stuck on 4. So yeah, we can go Knight of the Stampede into Crested Herdcaller. Alright, and now we're just waiting for Mama Zakama and Grandpa Gishath. Alright, 5 mana. Time to play that Pterodon that we get to Crushing Canopy. Hopefully. Alright, Sky Marcher instead. Plus a 2-drop. Ooh, ouch. Well, that explains why they've been kind of slow rolling us. Well, let's hope they never draw 6 land. Because that card's unbeatable. I mean, this is gonna happen either way. Alright, down to 2. Let's ramp, I guess. Get another mountain. Yeah, that's a mock. It's kind of a beating. I guess we'll keep playing out our lands. Did get them down to 2, so if we find one of our flyers, they could get across the finish line. And we can hardcast our Mama Zakama. There's a Pterodon. Alright, pillage isn't bad. Alright, it might be time for some revenge. I'll take 8. Probably should have kept the land in hand there, yeah. Opponent could have had an arterial flow. But if they don't, then we have extra mana for Zakama activations. Oh yeah, our opponent revealed Tatsamok. We revealed Zakama. Gotta float mana. It's like we're playing a Nexus deck. Alright, so what should we do here? So this 10, 11, 30 mana. So we can activate it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, attack, they're dead. That could work. So let's tap our mana properly. There we go. And justice has been served. Alright, Mama Zakama carrying us once again. Well, gotta keep. Get to reveal Zakama on turn 2 here. Probably taking the Regisaur still. We can migration revealing Regisaur for red mana. And Regisaur buys us quite a bit of time. Forerunner can get something else too here. It's probably just an opt. Yeah. Ooh, hello. So we could Forerunner into Regisaur to kill it, or we could just play the Regisaur to kill it. It's kind of weird that they played it into a Regisaur. So probably implies they have an answer to it. I guess playing Forerunner first might not be bad. Because they might have something like a Luminous Bonds, which would answer the Regisaur but doesn't stop the Forerunner. Yeah, let's assume our opponent knows what they're doing. And we could get a Herd Caller, which isn't bad here. Could get a Flyer. Probably want to get a 5-drop to kind of bridge the gap here. So it's either Pterodon, Aerosaur, or Herd Caller. And the Herd Caller plus Forerunner can deal 2 damage to everything, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, when a dinosaur enters battlefield. So we could potentially kill a 2-toughness creature. Sky Marcher, that's fine. So we want to attack with the Forerunner. If they block, we Herd Caller and kill Sky Marcher. We would also lose a Forerunner, but I think that's fine. Alright, so we gotta stack these correctly. So first the token enters the battlefield, then the Forerunner triggers, because if we do it the other way around, then we won't be able to trigger it the second time. And now we take action. And now we take action. Spirewinder, sure. It's a good draw too, but we're just gonna attack and play a Regisaur. Let's get in there. And we can just pass the turn here. No need to do anything. Well, Mama Zakama was watching from the sidelines, cheering on the team. Sweet. Rank up. Alright, not bad, not bad. How would I rate the deck? Outside of the sketchy mana, the power level is definitely like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. The mana base problems bring it back to like an 8 out of 10, I think. Don't have a ton of removal, so we are definitely relying on our bombs to get there, and that's not always going to be the case. If all goes according to plan, we can definitely have 10 out of 10 draws, like we had in the previous one. This hand's not great, but we get to play Keeper, Canopy as interaction, and we're on the draw. I think we keep. Opponent on a black-white Ascent type deck. We're happy trading Keeper for Soldier here, since we just want to keep them off the City's Blessing. Did pick up the planes, which is nice. And the Ixalan's Keeper job in this deck is just to trade off with opposing 2-drops, so we don't fall too far behind, and that's exactly what it did. Get to play a turn 4 5-drop here, which is pretty nice. Ooh, Mark of the Vampire. Luckily we've got a Crushing Canopy to destroy it at some point. So 5, 6, pretty far away from the City's Blessing still. I guess we'll play the Pterodon, a bit more toughness. Yeah, Mark of the Vampire on Vanguard would have been a little bit safer, but I guess they really wanted to diversify in case of a Luminous Bonds, which makes sense. Yeah, Sister Swordtooth is back. Recovers the Queen's Bay Soldier, that's fine. I think we blocked the Vanguard, they could have a trick, but gotta bait it out at some point. And it's not the worst if they do. Yep. And it could have still been reasonable for them to attack with both, just to try and push damage, since they were gaining life anyway, so they didn't care about having to pay 4. So I think the block was justified. We can play Aerosaur, and then set up the ambush on the Mark of the Vampire next turn. 5, 6, 7, 8. Although they are somewhat likely to get the City's Blessing, and then that's no longer going to work. So we might want to Crushing Canopy the Mark this turn cycle. We won't be able to ambush, but that might be okay, just to prevent the City's Blessing for a turn. The best case scenario would be we play Aerosaur, opponent attacks us, we block whatever, and then next turn, as they go to attack with the Sentry again, we Crushing Canopy it and then block with Aerosaur on Sentry and kill it. But I don't think that's likely to happen given that they're so close to the City's Blessing. I think we just go for the Knight plus Canopy play, and no need to show them we have the Canopy yet. Alright, so in response to a creature being cast, we want a canopy, but they're gonna get the City's Blessing anyway here by playing the Queen's Base Soldier, so I guess it doesn't matter a ton. Might as well do it. So now they play the Soldier and still have the City's Blessing, which is unfortunate. We also want to get to the City's Blessing, so I don't think we're jumping quite yet. Alright. Land, Aerosaur. And that should get us there. So now we can trade off Swordtooth for Charger, and Aerosaur holds back their forces. So we're at parity, but we are at 7 and they're at 26. So they've got a bit more life to work with. Could also double block Knight and Aerosaur, which is not unreasonable. They would kill Aerosaur, we're left with a Swordtooth, which is a better blocker, but a worse attacker. And if they play a flyer, we would rather have Aerosaur back. So I think this is fine. Could also make the case for double blocking with the Tail Annihilates Knight in case of like a Moment of Craving top deck, or another Moment of Triumph. Alright, Grandpa Gishath is 1 land away from getting cast. Don't mind our spot here. Vampire Revenant, so glad we held on to the Shining Aerosaur. Oof, that's an awkward draw. Alright. We're guaranteed to cast Gishath in 2 turns, essentially. A land would probably still be a better top deck here. Alright, and I think we're fine to trade Gishath for their entire board. And I think the rest stays back. So their opponent's definitely incentivized to make some trades. But now we're a lot safer. Alright, so they're gonna make the Vanguard indestructible. Don't get to trample over. And still have a Pirate Spillage for when we draw land. Yeah, Luminous Bonds is pretty good too. Don't really want to pillage that away. Now the question is, do we Luminous Bonds anything? Good idea to cast it now in case they find removal for Aerosaur. So I think we Luminous Bonds the Revenant, since we have more ways to block the Vanguard than we do the Revenant. And hopefully we draw something useless so we can Pirate Spillage. Bloodletter. Alright, we're getting pretty low here. So let's pillage away this land. Alright, not the draws we were hoping for, but had to go through those at some point. Alright, let's hope to do top deck Mama Zakama. Queen's Commission, so next turn we might see an attack with everyone, and that might kill us in 2 turns. So let's go full control here, just so we show that we might still be holding something. It's maybe somewhat obvious to our opponent, but might as well try. Alright, they did not attack. That's good. So they're respecting the full control. Knight is an extra blocker, that's useful. I guess we gotta keep up the charade. Alright, so we gotta go full control very quickly after playing the Knight. Because if we hold full control and then play Knight, we have to manually tap our mana, and they know something will be up. If we full control while the Knight's on the stack, they might not suspect a thing. But now we might be safe from an attack from everyone, so it's less important to keep up the bluff, but might as well, since we're here. It's also a fun mini game to just hold full control and not make it too obvious. Looks like maybe a Moment of Craving. Think we still have to block. Can't really go to 4 here. Divine Verdict, fair enough. So don't have a ton of time here to draw Zakama, but Kinjali Sunwing will have to do. Blocks the Bloodletter, which is kind of our biggest threat at this point. It's been fun. I've got 1 turn to top deck Zakama, otherwise the game's over. Yeah, Profane Procession's definitely up there as one of the most powerful limited cards. Yeah, maybe if we look very closely we can spot Zakama somewhere in the forest. Well, drew a couple too many lands. Needed another Pirate Spillage, I guess. Gave it a good effort. I think we might be dead here. Just a hunch. Alright, they didn't play around Settle the Wreckage though. Yeah, with the transformed Profane Procession, even Settle the Wreckage wouldn't have saved us. Alright, 4 and 1. Alright, hand looks reasonable. Hardy Veteran. Alright, I'm kind of liking this Gishath over here, although Raging Regisaur is tempting too. Would fit in our curve a little bit better. Could go Raptor into Regisaur into Aerosaur. Gishath is kind of more a long-term plan. It's probably the Regisaur. Shadebearer, alright. Well, now our Regisaur looks pretty good. Think we're fine trading for Hardy Veteran, given the chance. Because that will make it more difficult for the opponent to double block the Regisaur. If this is River Herald's Boon, I guess it would make sense, since otherwise playing Jadebearer into Regisaur is not the best, but had to give it a shot. Alright, let's play Regisaur now. Think we're still blocking. If they had a more significant pump spell, Jadebearer probably attacks. If it's another boon, I guess this still makes sense. But don't really want to take 3 damage for free. So we could attack with Regisaur, deal 1 to the River Darter, and if they double block we kill both. And we still have an Aerosaur back on defense. That seems reasonable, just get the 2-for-1 trade. And if they don't block, that's fine too. Doesn't really matter what we deal 1 damage to here. Opponent takes it. Can't block the River Darter, but we can block the Hardy Veteran. Alright, just a Darter getting in there. Talon Alley's Knight to pick up. So opponent did nothing with 3 mana, they could just be missing land drops of course. Do want to be somewhat aggressive if they're missing land drops to try and close out the game before they find their lands. Regisaur can once again deal 1 damage to one of the blockers. Yeah, I think we do want to be somewhat aggressive here, since even though we might have better top decks in the sense of our bombs, Right now, if our opponent finds lands, they're probably going to pull ahead since they have all spells and we only have a Crushing Canopy. Could be correct to deal 1 damage to the Jade Bear instead of the Hardy Veteran. Not sure. Let's play this Knight. We're happy to trade for Jade Bear. Alright, they did find the land, but it's tapped. Opponent's gonna hang back. Sunwing is a good pickup. So now we might want to switch gears and just attack with our flyers. So let's attack with Aerosaur. I guess Dillinali's Knight could also attack here. Fine to trade it with Veteran. Could attack with everyone, but then they double block Regisaur and we only kill 1 blocker. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, opponent takes a trade. And Sunwing is pretty good in the spot where our opponent's on the back foot. We've got a canopy for another flyer. Opponent needs interaction. They can't rely on their creatures to block. And yeah, they're just dead. Regisaur dealing 1 damage and the flyers is lethal next turn. Alright, 5-1. Didn't play any Zakamas or Gishaths, but just curving out while our opponent struggled was good enough. Hand looks reasonable. Good curve. Commune to find more action. Alright, we want a Herd Caller or a Suncrested Pterodon. And the Herald also helps us with the City's Blessing, so I think we take the Herald, or the Herd Caller, I mean. Corsair. Alright, so we probably will be playing Swordtooth next turn. Since we did pick up the land, so we can go Swordtooth into Herd Caller. Which is pretty decent. Opponent with Chart a Course. I don't think we showed him the double green yet. Might as well hide the info. So next turn if we go land, play Herd Caller, we would have the City's Blessing. So we would be attacking with a Swordtooth on turn 4, which is pretty impressive. So hopefully no counterspells. That's fine. Alright. $11 permanents even. Bravado's actually worse than a Sure Strike would have been in that spot, since we still traded for the 2-1. Alright, so all our cards are on the table. We might actually want to sack Amulet on upkeep here. Make it less likely that we draw land for the turn. I think that's reasonable. And what land do we get? Doesn't matter a whole lot. Guess another forest. Alright, draw forest anyway. We're also pretty close to activating the Keeper's ability. At 5 mana there's a Windstrider. Alright. Cannonade, that's fine. Happy we didn't play Raptor main phase here. Alright, so if we top deck Gishath or Zakama, we can almost cast them. And our opponent's down to 10. Facing a pretty powerful board. Although that killing our token is a pretty nice play. Kind of like a Ravenous Chupacabra in a sense here. Kill a creature and leave a body behind. Alright, I mean, we're still attacking into it. Ooh, see red. Hits us for 4. Sunwing is a nice pickup. Keep land in hand in case of Pirate Spillage. So opponent needs interaction once again, can't rely on creatures to block with. And if they don't attack with the Corsair, the Sea Rat falls off. So they will attack, we'll take it. If they have Bravado, they have Bravado. Could also have Unfriendly Fire, yeah. That's the other one they could have had to kill us here. Alright, well, it's unfortunate. Pretty close there. Had one of those late top decked for us been a spell, we might have been able to get there. Alright, how about this one? No green on the play. It's definitely sketchy. Get to play Knight into maybe a Luminous Bonds. That's as far as it goes. Swordtooth is pretty far away from being turned on with the City's Blessing and doesn't do much with only 2 lands. So I think this is a mull, sadly. Alright, this is a bit better. And we can keep some pretty expensive dinos on top thanks to Nidus Stampede. So even though Dreadmaw were not close to casting, if it weren't for Nidus Stampede, I think we still keep it since we're on a mulligan and we can use all the help we can get. And playing a Dreadmaw on turn 5 could be one way to do that. So going for the slightly riskier line and hope it pays off. Let's say the roles were reversed and our opponent was the one who mulliganed. Then, of course, we wouldn't get the Scry 1, but let's say in an imaginary scenario, we would know the next card is Dreadmaw and we have the option of putting it on the bottom. Maybe we would, because we don't need to take a high-risk line like this. That might not pay off. So it looks like we might be able to get there. Opponent on Esper with a Griffin. We could Crushing Canopy the Griffin, could just trade for the Raptor. Raptor's not a bad attacker here, but the upside of going Knight into Dreadmaw next turn is pretty high, so taking a turn off to cast Canopy is pretty bad. So we either don't attack, or we just trade. I think trading's okay. Griffin's gonna be a problem at some point in the game. And I'm pretty sure we'll get another target for Crushing Canopy. Could just be a Water Knot or a Luminous Bonds enchanting one of our creatures. They're in blue-white, so they'll have plenty of flyers. Alright, turn 5 Colossal Dreadmaw. Not the fastest Dreadmaw ever cast, but could be good enough. Alright. Facing a Storm Sculptor, 3/2 unblockable. So opponent's under quite a bit of pressure. If they go for a Water Knot or Luminous Bonds, we can Crushing Canopy to keep up the pressure with the Dreadmaw. What we don't want to see is something like a Divine Verdict, Legion's Judgment that can kill the Dreadmaw. Sailor of Means, that's fine. The fact that their turn is taking so long probably implies they don't have a great answer to Dreadmaw. And a Sentry, alright. Ooh, Forerunner. Forerunner could do some damage. So your opponent's got 9 permanents, next turn to get the City's Blessing. The Dreadmaw is still okay to attack here. Knight's probably staying back. And then we can Forerunner looking for Hurt Caller which can double damage to kill Storm Sculptor as well. Seems good. Alternatively, we could be satisfied with just getting a flyer to help us close out the game. So yeah, one land for Gishath, or we can play it safe and get something like a Herd Caller, which can kill the Storm Sculptor if the Forerunner is still in play, or we can get a flyer like the Pterodon or the Aerosaur. I think I like the Crested. Just play it safe. We can go Crested plus Knight next turn and just try and overpower them. Armasaur, that's fine. And a Shorekeeper. If we had another Dino in hand, we could completely wreck their board. We'll have to be satisfied with killing Aspirant and Sculptor. So is there any reason to main phase the Herd Caller? Trample damage, so I think we do. Alright, let's get in there. Opponent only has to block with Sailor and Sentry to kill Dreadmaw. I think that's acceptable. And if they want to trade Armasaur for Knight of the Stampede, that's fine too. So I think we attack with both of these. Alright. So I don't hate our spots. They do have an Armasaur on defense, which is a pretty good blocker here, but we might be able to just attack with everyone and kill them. Alright, good target for Canopy, and now they can't use the Armasaur anymore. They have to chump both 3/3s and then fall to 1. Alright, we'll keep a land in hand in case of Pirate Spillage. Slaughter is strong. Alright, I guess we'll keep Tilon Nally's Knight and Knight of the Stampede. Sweet. Alright, so we're 6 and 2. Let's see if Mama Zakama can get the last one. Alright, Grandpa Gishath and a Pirate Spillage and Amulet for Fixing. This is a snap keep. Although turn 1 Fire Shrine Keeper is a little bit scary. Alright, that's a good start for the opponent. 2 evasive creatures to start their curve. So we do need to get these creatures down quickly. Probably getting a Plains here. Hope to draw something cheap. Alright. Well, we know what we can discard here. Yeah, we might be dead before we get to cast the Gishath. That's quite a curve. Could have used that last turn. So this turn we can Pirate Spillage, add 2 treasures. Next turn we'll have 5 lands in play, 2 treasures, so we still can cast Gishath. So we're probably better off just playing a Sunwing and trading it for a Firebrand. Yeah, let's Sunwing. And then we might have to go Pterodon into Pirate Spillage into Gishath. Attacks with everyone. Got a trade here. we could Pirate Spillage right now. We take 1 down to 7, get attacked for 3. We play Gishath, and now we gotta get really lucky. What's the alternative? Playing Pterodon, but Pterodon doesn't block anything. So yeah, might as well spin the wheel here. Casting the Thunderherd Migration is mana neutral in a way, so might as well. Reveal a dino. Don't show them the Gishath yet. And get another Plains. I might actually need more green. Yeah, the hope is Gishath into like a Zakama, but we might beat that regardless. Yeah, 2-1 haste. But now even Gishath probably can't save us. Well, let's give him a shot. Would be fun if they let us hit them for 7 though. Alright, they did. There's a Kama, but sadly this isn't cast, is it? Oh well. So we don't get to untap our lands. If this did untap our lands and we got to gain life, we actually would have been in pretty good shape. But now the crew can just ping us to death. So, well, we got to do the sweet thing. Gishath finds a Kama, but our opponent had just too good of a start with all the menace creatures, and we didn't have early interaction. Can't complain, we got to do all the sweet things this draft. Got to play Zakama, got to play a Gishath. Won some very close games, got to beat some bombs, lost to some bombs. So we got the entire spectrum. After first picking Zakama, the draft could have definitely train wrecked, but we got some pretty fortunate opens with the Gishath, among others. Didn't end up with a lot of removal, which was our weakness, so aggressive decks like the one we faced in the last match were going to be our Achilles heel, and that showed. But nonetheless, I hope you had fun watching. Let's crack some packs. And a Priest of the Awakening Sun. Pack 1, pick 1. Might just be the Aerialist. Pretty weak pack overall. But for now, want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. And as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.